Okay, Jack. So really nice to see you. Tell us a bit about yourself. Where do you come from, and do you have a musical family?
I'm a baritone. I'm from Grantham in Lincolnshire. I don't have a particularly musical family in terms of musical talent, which they'll be pleased I said that. But they are interested in classical music, and I attended my first kind of classical music concert when I was reasonably young. It was Carnival of the Animals at Snape Maltings, and it was one of the kind of children events. So you got to play a big game of human-sized snakes and ladders as well.
Fantastic.
And so I kind of thought classical music was a bit like that, and I would get to win a game of snakes and ladders every time I go see a concert. But no, I had my first singing lesson at 16. I was trying to join my school's chamber choir, right. And they sang on Songs of Praise, Choir of the Year, and I thought that would be a pretty cool thing to be able to sing on. And the condition was joining the choir, you had to have singing lessons, and it kind of took off from there. I had a fantastic teacher called Richard Coxon, who was a Ferrier finalist in 1992, I think. And he set me off to be able to join the academy, and I've kind of gone off from there.
So did you know from an early stage? I mean, you say you started singing sort of seriously at 16. Did you know at that point, Jack, that you wanted to do this as a professional game?
No, I wouldn't say I
When did that happen? When was the moment when you thought, I need to do this?
I think the moment was kind of I think there was a decision that I had to make of kind of, you get to 16 after doing your GCSEs, and you have to decide what's going to come up next. And I think at that time it was politics and going in to do kind of international relations at university. And I sat there filling out the form going, I really don't want to do this. And singing was something that in the kind of year that I'd been doing it had brought me a lot more joy than sitting in politics or geography classes. And there was the slimmest of possibilities that I could go study it at somewhere like the academy, the top conservatoires in the world, and there was no point in not going for it. And I think that's where in the moments before going to the academy was the real moment where I kind of was, this is really exciting. This is really I just I love performing, and I love being out there. It's making people laugh, making people feel things.
So how long have you been at the academy?
I'm now in my 6th year of the academy. I'm in my 2nd year of masters. I did my undergraduate there. I've been fortunate enough to study with the same person. I've been studying with Giles Underwood for all of my 6 years, and Chad, who's accompanying me in the competition, is my vocal coach. And so we've been working together for about 4 or 5 years now. And
that's
so
great. So you're working with a real team player, as it were. You're working. It's
very kind of it's a sports-like thing, this singing, and having a really strong kind of team of coaches and people that can get you there are really important. And I've been lucky to find 2 that I really trust and really get on with.
And what happens to you after this 2nd year of your masters? What's the plan after that?
So
the world?
No, hopefully I'm auditioning for opera schools in December. So I'll go to sing for them, and then I finish my masters in June, and I'll be joining the chorus at Glyndebourne for their festival this summer.
A very good thing to be doing. And have you done British Youth Opera? It's not clear when that happened, because it says you're doing The Father in Hensel.
Yes, I did. I sang The Father this summer. I was in their joint production of British Youth Opera and Silent Opera, which is this company that can do operas using headsets and multi-track operas, which is a fantastic idea. And it was really fun process over the summer, almost rewriting Hansel and Gretel for balancing the children's side and the adult side.
We've had a couple of people who are singing in the other part of the Royal Academy Opera double bill. They're in Skiki. Yeah. You're in L'Heure Espagnole, aren't you?
Yes, I am. I was singing Ramiro in L'Heure Espagnole, the jolly mule driver. He's a postman in our production.
Well, you've got this jolly face, Jack, you see. I mean, it's typecasting.
It's typecasting, and it's very nice. And he's just the nicest person in the world to play. He's overly polite. He's happy to carry clocks around, upstairs, downstairs.
This is the theoretical question, really. Looking ahead, a decade, shall we say, where do you see your voice being? I mean, do you see it darkening? What would you like to be doing in the next 10 years? And do you want a mix? Do you want a mix of opera and oratorio and song?
I think that I would love to be doing all of it. I get joy from singing the Messiah as much as singing kind of Mahler's Lieder eines freien Gesellen. And all of that, I think I would just love to be performing. I would want to be on the stage, whether it's Wigmore Hall doing a song concert, St. John Smith Square doing oratorio, or the Opera House, the Coliseum. I'd love, they're the places I want to be singing in.
Yeah, and they all feed into one another, don't they? It's important to do all three, I think.
Yeah, definitely, and I think that's what I've been taught and what I've been learning in my time at the Academy, is that you move from, say, an English song class into a opera repertoire class, and you're taking what you've learned in that to add to your performance in an opera.
Exactly. Well, let's just have a quick look at what you're singing in the semi-final and the final. And you're starting with something that isn't particularly funny, as it were.
Yes.
From the great Pagliacci, from Verismo, Leoncavallo. Tell us about Si Può.
Well, Si Può is the prologue to Pagliacci, so it's slightly out of the story. He comes in front of the curtain and warns the audience that what they're going to see is not fiction. They're going to see real life and real emotions. And he talks about the dreams that they have, and the composer beating the tempo through tears. And all of these features, that they are real life, they're raw. And I think, the story of Pagliacci goes on to prove that.
It does. And it's a great piece, isn't it? Because it breaks the fourth wall. I mean,
Yes, definitely. It's almost, going into song singing. It's whilst it's an aria, it's definitely, you're communicating with the audience, you're communicating with everyone there, really speaking very powerful words.
And from Leoncavallo, you head for Stanford and Drake's Drum. What drove you in that direction?
It's one of my favorite pieces of music, which is probably not a good link, but this is Francis Drake, and his drum is a fictional drum. He apparently gave it to a group of men, and they sailed back to England. He said, "Beat it when England is in danger, and I'll come back." And a couple of months after he did this, he died. And so this song is him talking. They're talking about Drake being in his hammock, sleeping in heaven and on his boat, and he's going to. And if you beat the drum, he will be there, and he'll drum them up the channel as he drummed them long ago. Which it's a fantastic song. It's very March-like and all the way through.
You've spoken about Mahler already, Jack, and I'm not surprised that you're singing one of the Lieder eines freien Gesellen. And it's such a powerful song. Ich habe ein glühendes Messer. Tell
Yes.
us what's going on.
He has this burning hot knife in his chest, and he's comparing it to he's comparing losing his love to being stabbed in the chest by this knife, and he's in agony, and he says, "Oh, au vie," over and over again, and throughout we get to this middle section where it gets quite peaceful, and he reminisces about this love, and Mahler then takes these very kind words about the beautiful girl with the blonde hair, and it causes the singer pain, it causes him pain, and he ends into this big final section where the singer goes, I wish I could lie in my black beer and never wake up, which is, it's an amazing song, and the end kind of drifts off into the next song, which is The Island,
Yes,
which is another Songs of a Wayfarer.
yes,
Almost talking about the same thing. That in this song they're talking about that he couldn't weep because he was so tired, and everything he desired he didn't want anymore. He'd become so tired of longing for this that he just couldn't do it anymore.
So we've had two Wayfarer songs, the Mahler and the
Yes.
Island. We've had a Song of the Sea from Stanford, and you end with Jonathan Dove's The Sailor Boy.
Yes, the Sailor Boy is from the 3 Tennyson songs that Jonathan Dove wrote, and this final one, the sailor gets warned by a mermaid that if he goes to sea, he will most certainly die. And instead of kind of being scared of this, he turns around to the mermaid and goes, yes, but everyone dies, whether they're at sea or on land. And he says, I'm going to Rome and I'm going to sea. And there's lots of his family kind of saying, don't go, don't go. And then it's the most exciting song. And at the end, it finishes with this huge climax of there's a real devil inside of him, and that he's just going to sail the sea forever.
Well, Jack, it's an exciting semi-final program. Leon Cavallis, Stanford, Mahler, Arne, Dove, and you start your final program with a very little-known piece, really.
Yes, a rare one
from Rossini's Barber of Seville, the entrance aria of Figaro. I mean, I don't think we need to say any more, really, except it just requires you to just bring us in. And
no, definitely, and it's just one of those pieces that I really enjoy singing. And it's bad to say that there's not much acting involved, but it's taking it all away and just having a lot of fun, and not trying to make people laugh, but trying to bring people in, like you say, and to really show the character. There isn't much of a story to tell. He says how much he loves his life and how great he is and how great his life is, but bringing them in on the character that is this immensely happy chap.
And after that, you go back to Stanford. You've obviously got a thing for Stanford, which is nice. And then 3 Ravel songs, the Don Quixote songs. Just try and combine those and tell us about Stanford and Ravel.
Well, so obviously quite different composers, but the one thing I thought about the Stanford song is reasonably odd, and so it comes from Stanford's nonsense rhymes, which he wrote under a pseudonym of Karl Drosnatsky, and they're a whole set, and they're of limericks, and this song talks of an old man of the Isle who played the violin, who played the fiddle, and I thought it just linked in perfectly to the Don Quixote songs, which you have the old knight of Don Quixote riding around with a poissard and on their quest to find Dulcinea. And these songs, though the set of 3 really just, they go from Don Quixote promising the world to a very prayer-like song in the middle, and then the famous drinking song at the end, where he is reasonably drunk at this point.
And it's nice for you that you're doing Ravel, you're doing Le Espagnol at the same time. I mean, you're
Yeah.
really in that Ravel world.
In the world of it, which is quite an odd world. I think, especially with the Le Espagnol, that's quite a strange piece of music. But there are some really beautiful moments in both, but especially the Don Quixote songs.
Yeah, no, he's an unbelievably great composer, Ravel. We kind of take him a bit for granted somehow, but everything he wrote is just, you know, brilliant. And again, it's not really a surprise, having heard your enthusiasm for Mahler in the semis, that you're ending with some more Mahler, and you're a baritone, and you're a baritone, so you know, why not?
Yeah, why not? And I couldn't think of a better way to end a program with, and no pressure, but what I think is kind of one of the most beautiful songs that not just Mahler wrote, but anywhere ever written. And it's fantastic. The performer says, you know, I am lost to the world, but at the end he says, you know, I live in heaven, in my love, in my song. And there's just this beautiful, the piano is amazing, and Chad plays it fantastically, and the singer just kind of glides on top of this amazing piano accompaniment. Yeah.
The piano is doing all the work, really. You don't have to do it.
Realistically, it's all down to Chad.
That's very good. Thank you, Chad. I look forward to seeing you next week.